Okay, shall I sit those out? You go listen. Okay. Shall we say something so you can hear us? We do this live. Yeah, well, the mics weren't. Can you hear Amanda?
Oh, I pulled it up.
Oh, okay.
I might have to go upstairs, my internet's being slow. I'll go check upstairs, my internet doesn't wanna, I'll pull it.
Okay, thanks. Test. Yeah. Are they? Do they say how long they're done? Until 8:40. Actually, no, he didn't say. He also said it was 8:40 when I said it was 8:36, and they went in for 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right. I've been limited with her water, so. Because it seems like so I was sitting in the chair watching the weather. When she came over, she stood up on the leg, sit down.
Share your elevator.
street. I didn't give him any leashes, so he just carried her. Yeah, leashes. 1 minute.
Now we're back in a heated room.
Yeah.
Christine Foster, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
I have a few things other than just the bond item, but since that's what's on the agenda. As a follow-up from last week, Rhonda and I followed up with the company, I didn't print one for you because it's in your email, with the bonding company about the fact that the presumption was that they would be paying bills directly. We wouldn't have to request wires and then transfer that out ourselves. So this is Lisa's response. And then the second page is the certificate that'll have to be filled out every time that we have a request to them to make a payment. So I'm assuming, Rhonda, we can get, I don't know how this is going to work, if it's going to be the board or if it'll go through your office, but they need a W-9 for the vendors and then invoices and then this request for each time that we need to make any.
So
Payment.
most of these disbursements are going to be pretty large anyway.
Right. Yeah,
And
so,
this way we don't have to set up an account and they just do it.
correct.
Right.
And then we wouldn't have to pay the separate wire fees from our bank to do it. It's, we're already paying fees to them, so.
So this would, and they have to be signed by the building commission and the chairman?
Yes, and so what they said is if you wanted, like Rhonda and I to be signatories, we're not on the board, but then we could be that second signature. You have to give them the list of who's approved, basically.
I think that's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the process.
So we don't need a motion for this, do we?
I think it's already part of how the contract is written.
Yeah,
It's just not how they presented it to us.
Okay.
I remember what they
So you can keep those for the requisition.
Okay, okay. So the other things that I had was, personal property notices went out for antiques last week, and we used, a lot of postage, went in the negative, almost $800, and we've also got receipts going out for, the second half of taxes, so I'm requesting $1,200 to be added to the postage machine for the treasurer's
Who
office.
does this go to?
Rhonda?
Just put postage on the top, because it's like 3 letters.
Good.
I'll mess them up if I try to.
And this is paid out of what fund?
Treasure.
Any of the, I don't know about antique vehicle, but anybody that has delinquent personal property, there can be a spot on their account for the vehicle, is that right?
Yes, so, and we did have that happen. A gentleman came in and was trying to sell his vehicle. So if you have delinquent personal property, you would have received a notice, and those actually have to be paid at the sheriff's office. And from that, if they're not paid, then a stop is put on your motor vehicle. So you can't renew tags or driver's license or things like that, and that's,
So do you run reports, is this an annual report when you put the stops on, or do you do a monthly report, or how are you catching those to then put the stop on the vehicle?
it's annual. So when the personal property goes delinquent, and then there's a timeline that they get to pay that, and then once that happens, then we put the stops on.
And are those in check to make sure that those are all on there for you?
They've not been checked since I've been there, but that is coming up because we sent the personal property notices February 1st. And so those have been with the sheriff's office since then.
So tell me again, how does that work? You stop it and get a tag,
Yeah.
but it doesn't stop you, it's still
No, it wouldn't stop them from that. Yeah.
All right, so I make a motion to approve purchase order 3486 for postage and the amount of $1,200 to be paid report from the treasurer's fund.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Carries.
Then the only other update that I had or request is, the fan has gone out in the ceiling of the motor vehicle side of the office. Jeff is ordering a new one, but they need to install it when staff's not there, so I'd like to make a request that they are allowed to come in 5:30, 6 a.m. one day this week to install it before staff arrives. He said it wouldn't result in overtime for them, but just so you all would be okay with them coming in that early to do that. Okay. That's all I have. Anything for me? Oh, I do want to say, motor vehicle is open again. We are closing for lunch at 11:45 to 1 o'clock, and then taking our last person around 4:15 to close the day down, and have staff done by 5. Tried to put that out there on Facebook and
Did I
the
see you saying
webpage.
open a couple nights?
Yes, I don't know why I had that. First and third Tuesday of the month, so tomorrow night will be open until 7. So first and third Tuesdays will be open until 7, for those people who can't make it by 5 or 4.
You brought this up a couple weeks ago, you were asking questions about the tax sales.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the timeline of when this is going to start working on that?
With the staffing changes in motor vehicle, I'm thinking we're probably looking at sometime in the summer to start the process. Just so we can kind of stabilize the motor vehicle side before we jump into that.
Oh, speaking of that, how are we on the process of all the names being
They can't move furniture until the 11th is the earliest, but Sunny has a contractor coming in today to look at the wiring. He's concerned that the ports that are on the treasurer side or the tax side wouldn't hold adding 3 more cubes, and he's gonna ask them if they need to do a drop down, and then that would have a quote with it, so.
So then what did they, no, so, doing this hour,
It's still gonna be an hourly rate, yeah, but,
and can
he's not answered that question. He looked at their calendar and said they couldn't do anything before the 11th, and I said, well, I've got Sunny looking at wiring to rearrange the office setting upstairs,
move everything to one side, so all the clerks can do all the taxes.
taxes and motor vehicle on one side, which would be great right now, given the staffing we have up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This will get confusing, now we get all these Christines we got, now we got all these Amandas. There's 2 of you, I know, there's Amanda Cunningham, which is coming up next from Crosswinds. Amanda Coleman, you're in on that.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to know that? I think the other Amanda knows.
Yeah.
Exactly, I was like, I don't know all these
Okay.
Amandas. Usually we got all the Christines.
I'll explain vehicle first.
By the way, if you'd like to, in the whole thing,
Would you like one of these?
yeah.
We have a.
Pass it down. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you guys. First, Fred, thanks again for coming
Sure.
to our annual meeting. Every year we host we call it our annual meeting, that where we can give our, by statute requirement, report to the commissioners as far as how the previous year went. Also, just to come kind of go over the same information as well, but want to always have that opportunity. So what I've provided you is that annual report that I'm referencing, and just kind of goes into detail about just the topical view of crosswinds for 2021. Hard to think about, we're already that far into things. So, it's just very brief overview, but it's got our board members listed in there. And for Osage County, that's Eva Anschutz, who sometimes is here, Ellen Denison, and Roxy Bush. Roxy actually serves as our treasurer for the board as well. And then you can see in there our different staff and anniversaries. We just always like to highlight our staff during that annual event, where identify who's been there every 5-year increments. But I always like to draw attention to how many have actually been at the agency for more than 5 years. And I was telling our staff at this meeting that research is really showing that only that 75% of people leave within 5 years of employment at places of business, which is just getting worse and worse. And so that's kind of a stark consideration when we think about longevity and how in our business, people really rely on people being consistent and staying in place. So it's nice to see that we've got a good, healthy list of people who've been here longer than that. You can see that we've employed 164 people last year, which is already up by around 10, and we actually have 40 positions open right now if we filled everything that we needed. And we just continue to grow. So that staffing number just gets larger and larger. Then if we look at how we serve clients per county, you can see the breakdown there. In Osage County, we served 466 people, which is actually up, and it's an increase of almost 1% from 2020. And that makes up about 13% of the people that we serve total in clients for Crosswinds, which was 3,540 individuals. And then of those 466, 116 are identified as SED, SPMI, which those are severe and emotionally disturbed children or severe and persistently mentally ill adults. So individuals with a little bit larger diagnoses, need a more wraparound service type care. Those are the community-based services that we're made for as community mental health centers. Easy way to put it, those are the cars that are out driving around. Those are our case managers, attendant care, peer support, people serving them in the communities with those different diagnoses. And then the other thing I just wanted to point out, one is 14% of those individuals served in Osage are uninsured, which is where the appropriations that we receive from the counties primarily go to, is to cover those services that individuals cannot afford to pay. As you guys know, we have a sliding fee scale, and so if individuals don't have insurance, then we can put them on that. But we also have a really robust internship program where we have an intern that comes up to Osage County and serves individuals for free and does a lot of work with the jails to make sure those services are free as well. And then last thing a lot of individuals always like to know is our kind of kids psychosocial program. So we run an after-school group here in Osage County, but the summer programming is a big one. So last year, 24 kids were served, which mostly we could serve more. It comes down to staffing and it comes down to location. So all of those Osage County kids will go to Carbondale again this summer. And so we pick them up and take them from all over the county to that location. But again, primarily that staffing issue is always present, and that goes for our regular providers as well. So if you know of individuals who are looking for positions, you can always use case managers, summer program, clinicians. It's really hard to recruit and then keep people in the smaller out counties because most people are going to drive in, especially when we talk about clinicians. So always keep an eye out for that. But we would always love to talk to individuals who might want to be part of our company. And then I'll let Sherry talk about the budget, but part of that we use to really try to supplement, the 18% that we get from the state and then about 13% from all the counties together. Over about 70% is fee for service reimbursements. That's what we're really dependent on. We're really trying to use grants and foundations to kind of supplement that as well too. So there's a page in there that shows all the different grants that we've written and utilized in 2021.
Does it show anywhere here how much each county pays?
It does not, but I can tell you that. You want to know what you pay? Is that what you're asking?
Hey, eventually I'd like to see all of them. If you can tell me what it was, or if you just want to write it down in that book right there, that's good with me.
I'll let Sherry talk about the budget while I'm kind of writing that down.
Sure. So you can see in 2021, we brought in about 10.6 million in revenue. Expenses were 9.5 million, but we would have had a loss of 357,600 roughly. That's unaudited numbers if we hadn't received more COVID money. So you can see our revenue still a little sluggish after COVID. So We're hoping to see that pick up some this year, but that's kind of where we ended the year.
So that's what we did.
You paid the 120,000, we had asked for 122,500. And so I think last year we did a 2% increase kind of across the board when we came in and asked for that. And so actually for our ask this year, we'd like to just keep it at that 122,500 that we had originally asked
I
for.
think what I was looking for was what the other counties are, if you have those numbers.
Well, I do, and I think they're all public on their websites, but I can tell you kind of ranking wise if that's even more helpful. But Osage County is ranked number 2 as far as how many people we serve. So they're our second largest
Right, I see
county.
that.
And
That's
then
my question, is the numbers based on the usage or how is it based?
it is originally, yeah. And
So what is Lyon County's, what are they doing?
Lyon County, here's what I have. I have money per resident of the county based on the dollars provided and the number and population, the dollar per client, so people we actually serve and how much is going towards.
So if we're paying 120,000, how much is
Lyon County has 400,000,
400,000?
but they make up 48% of our clients.
Right. But that's why I'm looking for the percentage, because that's the
Yeah.
high, we're the second. So then let's look at the bottom one, is Chase County.
Yep. They're paying 7,000.
7,000. And then just see what we got at Coffee County.
99.
Okay.
So I would say Osage ranks number 4 out of our 7 counties in amount paid per resident of the county.
Per resident,
Not per client, but per resident.
so we do per client, where's Osage County?
3rd.
I just want to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, I was just trying to see I'm glad I brought that. I thought I had a different percentage I was going to look at, but
So if you would have lost $357,000 last year, what would that money come from?
if we had lost it,
In other words, right now, you
It
have
doesn't.
$1.2 million carryover, so what would happen? So what happened?
it
to
makes us have
$1.2
to
million?
be better than budget the next year.
So the $1.2 million that was left over, you put it. you didn't carry
Well,
over
we
the
had
budget, so
some in
$1.2
reserves left over from some COVID, but we have had to dip into that some as well, so.
You're just taking the difference of these two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if it was 1.5 million, because the COVID money stopped and losing it without it, they would have lost 357, so there's $1.2 million basically left over somewhere.
Yeah, we carry a zero balance budget, so,
And that's to put something.
2 years ago, right before COVID, I came in and said, I think we've had the first margin that I've seen, that I am aware of in the last 10 years or so. And it was like, 20-some thousand. It was,
Right.
but it was exciting. We were ready, we were gearing up. And then COVID hit. And so, we are used to losing money. Some of that's on paper because we write off a lot of
Yeah.
services that we provide that we never
Right.
got payment for. And so it doesn't hit us in that big of a bulk, for lack of a better word. But any of that extra, we're really trying to put into reserve. I told you guys last time, we're starting that capital campaign, so we're really hoping to not only just get our different buildings, but get some more in reserves and endowment. We'd like to feel safe about those numbers and put some of that into
Yeah.
endowment. But we're already feeling the heat of using that money to cover our operations and,
Well, and we all know wages are going up, so it just makes that much more of an impact on the budget to keep staff.
and that last 2 to 3 years, that's what we really felt. And that's probably where a lot of that's hitting is,
Bringing that up, everybody thinks inflation means that we need to get more money paid, but unfortunately, if 15,000 people live in the county, they're affected by inflation also.
Yes.
So they're getting it twice when we say here in salaries that are in the county. So that's when it becomes, to me, the most important thing right now is we need to figure out how to cut spending and save money. Because we don't need to pass on more tax increases that they're already getting with inflation. So,
yeah,
I mean, if you look at groceries, and think about how much the food is going up.
Oh, it's- yeah.
Think about how much gas is going up.
Gas,
Everything goes up.
everything.
So
So,
So we represent the people, and the people say, hey, we don't want this going on, so.
Yep.
Anytime we figure out what to say, we
Yep.
about that.
and we definitely understand that and value that and trying to really look at how we spend and what we're doing. Most of our increase in cost is coming from paying people more. We, that's got that $15 minimum wage looming in the future, and if we had that in one bulk, when that happened 2 years ago,
Yeah.
it'd be a $2 million swing.
We look at that.
And so there's no way. And so we started at that time kind of creeping. This year we gave another one. We're trying to write into some of the large grants we're getting so that we don't hit our budget as much. But
What
we,
happens with that, the people that are pushing that don't understand that these things go through, there's no money, you have to cut staff positions.
correct.
In the end,
That's
that's
what
what would have to
happens.
happen.
Well,
Yeah.
And when you look at, this is the thing about looking at it, because under the $15 wage limit, we can just not pay insurance and make it not have it available. Add that to the wage limit, pay the insurance.
Yeah.
Same thing, except now they're paying tax on the insurance instead of not paying tax.
Yeah.
They
And
don't lose it.
and we
The wage
can't-
will go up, it's-
Yeah.
we couldn't hire our community-based service professionals without getting an increase at this point because of the fast food and gas stations are paying as much, if not more, as what we were paying them. And so we are really pushing those limits. We are across the state and nationally for clinicians, losing people left and right because Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma are paying 15,000 more than we are. So
I think we're starting some budget stuff next week, is that what? Scott, have next week?
The sooner,
I was thinking, I might be wrong, who's gonna, I talked to him once, I thought he said he was coming.
we could work on it.
But we'll be working on some budget stuff.
Sure.
Right.
yeah, and we appreciate the questions. We want
Yeah.
to give you whatever information's helpful, but we definitely sit down and try to look and make sure what we're asking counties is fair. We're not asking for increases from Osage, just that original. But there are some that we're going to ask to increase a little bit to be more in competition and more comparison with some of the other counties. But we want to continue to provide as much service as possible and have staff here. And, we're in every school in the districts that are in Osage County. And so.
Your presence in the SROs and schools is making
Yeah.
a big difference.
We hope so.
So,
We do a lot of good work for sure out there and
and
we want to keep doing
your
that.
cars are very visible, so.
As long as people don't wreck them.
We get that everywhere.
Yeah, right.
But I appreciate this because that really is the people out there working. Because we're
Right.
community-based, that's what we're built upon, that's what we're made for. And that means they're out in the schools, they're out in the job
Right.
force, working in their homes and doing lots of things for them. So
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you for your time
Thank
today and for your ongoing support.
Yes.
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Enjoy the weather.
Well,
It
But didn't rain on us all day.
Yeah.
we'll see. Getting warmer, just be dry at some point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Nicole.
So I very excitedly wanted to show you some of the website samples and the things I like, but that is not, it will not detect my laptop at all, so. Can you, use that instead? While I'm at it. I just thought it was easier. I started printing it off. They all 4 places gave me their pitch and their information. And my, well, I tried to.
You have to do that too. I thought maybe you did that.
I can say something snarky right now.
Taking the high road, good job.
What did you say?
You're taking the high road, good job.
I'm gonna say I must appreciate that. I don't know why. Is that right, Holly?
There it is. Okay. So, where is that? That's not the much. all four did everything we talked about, the online forms, they looked nice, that you could do, and then even the pop-ups where, like, when we, instead of having to create a little weird banner, it would have a little notification pop-up, like, when the DMV was closed, or we canceled a meeting or something. So I did like all of them. So first, I'm gonna start with Civic Plus because that's what we've already discussed. Oh, I forgot where they fell. So their total, the first year is $19,896, and that is the basic, the lowest state. That isn't the meeting we got. That is the lowest. And then annually, it'll be $6,420.75. They do serve the most counties in Kansas. So I would say well over 60%. So, let me see if I can get back to that. Yeah. Oh, sorry. This one more. You had there. So all the websites do this. They set up notifications. They have the online forms. You make payments online. I like all the back ends, and they will all transfer it. So we don't have to transfer it ourselves. That's included in the initial price.
When you say transfer, you mean like all the content?
Right, and design it. So it's not us having to recreate the website. They're all ADA compliant. They're all mobile friendly, and I thought they all had her.
So they're mobile friendly, if people want to do a permit, can they pull it up on their phone
Yep.
and fill it out?
Yes, yeah, so they can do everything online and it's not awkward, it doesn't look funny, so.
And when you say payments online,
Yep.
is that an actual, like a debit credit payment?
Yeah,
Or is it where
yeah.
they send it to the bank and check?
No, they can actually just put in their credit or debit card and process it, so, I think, one of the offices I know that'd be beneficial to would be back office. People could fill out the permit forms that they want, submit the payment, and it would come to her versus them having to come in, and that would easily.
So where's the fees come in on that, because there would be
They-
monthly fees?
Yes, and everything has like a different fee where we can have it be charged to the person, like if they charge it 2% or 3%, we can have it charged to the person, or that's something that we can pay.
Legally?
Yeah. So we can say we can say there is a 3% charge, whatever their fee is, we can say there's a 3% charge to use your credit card.
Because businesses can't do that, the government entities have the option.
Yeah, we have the option to do that,
Yeah,
yeah,
the private business can't.
right, but we can.
The public can.
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
So that's an option, so those are all options and things when we decide, if you decide which one, that's something to look at. All their fees were pretty similar, and they have competitors within, so if we don't like this group, they offer like 3 or 4 different, services we can go through inside those, so that's
So on the
nice.
website, we currently have.
What do we pay? I don't know I couldn't find out what our payment was.
We could find out, but when I called last year, we pay an annual payment to CIC, which is around 60-some thousand. Is that once or twice a year?
It's only once a year.
They host the website, but it does not include any updates, redesigns, or anything. And it's just part of our
So we
package.
would have to pay that on top of this.
Well, when I talked to them last year, they can take the hosting fee out, but I didn't ask.
Because this has a posting though.
Yes, everything, yeah.
So we can take it out.
So we need to find out what that number is, so we know.
It's probably, I can't imagine it's very much.
I have no, I wasn't able to find out.
Can you contact them?
Yeah, I can try, yeah. Again, sorry, Civic Plus is the one that we already kind of looked at. You've seen some of these samples. One thing I like is they do offer a tax sale now, which you're talking about the tax sale. And you can they can set this up and you can see all the ones that are on tax sale, the map where they're at. So I like that. That was a feature that we would probably have to pay for. That we probably have to pay for somewhere else. They have, this is part of their forms, but they have, you can report a concern, or maybe you can request an agenda item, or send a message, or sign up for the appraisal, here's their form. It's pretty big. So I'm trying to navigate up there. So you just, you can fill it out, your name, address. We design the form, we decide what they ask, we pick the things, so whatever we want. Anything we want to submit it, a burn permit request, anything.
So on the citizen concern,
Uh-huh.
Who's kind of the clearinghouse that gets it and sends it to the
So
department?
that'd have to be your decision, or we can have it can specify what department. So if they claimed it was a road, like a road has a pothole, and that was their concern, they selected it, and that would automatically go to Ryan's email. If they had, if they had a
Well, you
concern
regret it
with,
so much more.
maybe it's a citizen concern, you go to Rhonda and then to you guys or something, that could be set up depending on how we want it. And then, so that was neat. And then the other thing that I think Rhonda might like is that this one has the forms for the agendas and the minutes. So you just go on their site and you type it, it's just a form that you type in and they look like this. And then you don't have to, so you click, you don't have to, and then you just say print when you want to print them, but you got, that's a form for, this is an agenda form for
So
instance.
the citizens, you want mine, you just print the agendas. they-
Right.
Print minutes. they-
Right, and she wouldn't have to upload them, she could do her agenda via this site, yeah, so she could just.
Does it have a format? Is that an agenda
Yep,
format?
yep, it has agenda format, so you choose which format you want and go with it, and then it is the same with minutes, so she could even be doing some of the minutes, here, it would fit in the form, and then tweak it, hit submit, and it's published online automatically, then it looks like. So then it'll look like that, and then you can click here to download, and then it has a media option, so we can link all of each individual, the viewing of each individual, like, that we record on there. So if you decide not to use YouTube in the future, and want to use like Zoom or something else, we can just post the link to each one there individually. So that was that one, and then here, and then they do offer a free redesign after 4 years. So if you stay with them for 4 years, they will do a complete redesign for us. And then, of course, we've seen some of their samples. They all look pretty nice. And again, I could go, that list could go pages with all that they have for Kansas. And they are a Kansas-based company. It looks odd with the screen stretched out.
I just thought theirs was so user friendly.
Yeah, I have nothing about them. The only thing is the next one I have is revised. It is a lot less. And it has almost all the same features. They're not as big of a company, so they haven't hit as many people yet, but they are right now. So they have Ellsworth County in Kansas, and I think they all their sites look nice. They were very friendly. And then switch pictures. Okay, this is actually very nice. Oh, there it is, okay. So yeah, they have Ellsworth County, and they have most of the same features, just a little less, but they're not as well known. They also do a free redesign after 4 years. They also have forms.
So with the forms, each office would be able to determine what things they would like to have
Yep.
online.
Yep.
And all this would be put on there.
Yeah. So, it could save a lot of foot traffic. There's definitely several things we can do. Sitting next to Becky, that's one that keeps coming into mind, but I think there's a lot that people could do a form for, wouldn't have to. Okay, well, this is really nice. It's really nice. The internet is just slow. Okay, I promise it's really nice. They also have the same concern form, that we could, have directly to different people. Oh, there, got it. So, to fill it out, it's also the same plugin to they also have an option for a video. You can have a video on the front page instead of just pictures. I thought it was nice. And so you have to have the alert, like we could, instead of having COVID, we could have, so-and-so, we see how they have drone video that goes in and looks at the area. We could have our lakes, we could get, drone video for lakes. I like that part of it.
Do they have all the agenda minutes,
This one, they will, but it is an add-on. But again, it's only $10,000, so, you can add on quite a bit to even get to the other cost. So that's the reason I mentioned them. And then you guys have all the links, so if you want to go look at some of the sites they do yourself, you can. This one is not the most expensive, but now we start going crazy up. Everything else that offered what the first two offered go up a lot. But this is all inclusive, so there was an add-on. They included the agendas, everything is included. So it starts at,
There's also that nice employment page that Franklin County has it as their
We could create, like with this one, you can, they're willing to do whatever you want for that price. So, so it starts out, we would pay 66,550 this year. Year 2 is 25,000, so their annual fee is more than the other fees, but it was nice. Right, I know, I'm just showing you the options. I know the first two are probably gonna get. The only other nice thing is they do where we have constant contact and we pay for it now, it's only like $120 a year. But it does send out you can do all the emails from there and all the alerts from there, and that's included in their system. You can post the minutes agenda. They also have document storage. So they offer extra cloud storage, so if there's something we wanted to store on our website that we didn't want other people to see, they have a back-end login, so our staff could log in and, and access their stuff from wherever they are. So, if I need something that's not, I don't have my computer with me, I can go to a library in another town and pull something up. It's just an option. They have forums also, so they have everything. And now, the next one, this is what Johnson County uses. So it's $76,000 to start up, and that's for the bare minimum. That is no extra. Johnson County. I'm gonna county in the state. Yeah. I know. So I had to show you and compare. You have to show how bad the other ones are to get you to appreciate the first two prices. But they pay that $76,000 is just the bottom, like no extra features, the lowest they do. And their annual fee is $26,000.
We're in the business, guys.
Yeah.
You have their site.
Yeah. I don't think it's that much fancier than any of the other
I went to their site and I was trying to find a sub number to a department. I could not find it. Yeah, I didn't think it was all that user friendly there.
They do this is, how do it's not even looking great on here, and that's the other page. I didn't find it the fanciest,
I didn't care for it when I was happy.
compared to the price that they paid. I was surprised they didn't have someone they didn't have like an in-house team, that was
That's like
actually.
76,000, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not gonna, I know those two are
I
way
see now what they were so efficient.
out of our league, so, but I did want to present you that, seriously, those are the main 4 options that are any better than what we have. And the first two, I think, I would strongly consider the Civic Plus and the Revise. I look at and I can get more links to Revise if you want to look at more of their stuff. I put 5 of them, or 4 of them on there. Go 5 because then I have that is weird. Yes, so it should be the second. Revise is right there.
This is the first two.
So Revise and Civic Plus. Yeah, or Civic Engage,
And I remember, I think with Civic Plus, that employment page that Franklin County has is an add-on.
it is an add-on, yeah, I didn't get the total of what that add-on is, and so that could always be something.
Is there a way to put employment stuff on there without
Yes.
doing the add-on?
Yes, and you can even create, if we wanted to create the application as a form, we could, sorry, and then you hit submit, and it automatically just goes to our HR or wherever we decide we want to have it.
What they have is really nice, but if there was a way to list all.
We could get, absolutely, yeah, we could still list the openings, and then I love the forms, I just think the forms, having that option, it will save so much. Someone wants to be on an agenda, they can type it in and send it to Rhonda. Someone has a complaint for you, or an issue for you, or they want to set up an appointment with the appraiser, or even just a question, they can just submit the form, and perhaps it's just an email back from.
So in the county, who would utilize this? Which department would utilize the website for?
Definitely, I think Christine Foster in her area, I think we could definitely add, if you look at some of the others, we could add some stuff to treasurer and motor vehicle, especially the easier payments online, because there's stuff that they don't need to come in for.
And here's one.
Land development, I think would use it.
I think that would be huge.
I think our
Yeah.
board would use it.
Yeah,
I'm asking that is maybe we need to have a session where we have everybody in here and talk about it.
yeah.
And then come up with what they think they need and then figure out if that's what they need, what's that cost?
And I got to have, Heather attended one with me, but with all the rest of them, I got to have, basically a demonstration. They lasted 15 and 30 minutes. So if the department heads want to come in and they would be willing to do a demonstration for us, I could set it up here. They could see the back end and then maybe they could click, because there might be things that it offers that I don't know their department does that clicks.
So you might want to set something up.
If you want to,
I mean,
okay.
we don't need to do it, I don't
Okay.
know. It's something-
Well, and anyone can, you could zoom in it anyway. I mean, it doesn't even have to be everyone sitting in here. You could zoom in from
We're
wherever
gonna
you're at.
spend the money to do it, let's do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna write down how to do it.
They have, oh,
They have to,
yes.
you have to sign in, where you can go in and do your supervision forms and stuff that you need to follow, like if there's an accident or something. That way you don't have to go to it. You can just put your login information, put you as an administrator or, you know, somebody that's higher up that can access those certain forms. So it has-
Yeah. I think having all the different departments here, because each department, like you said, they may say, well, man, if I could put this online, it'd be great. And that we want to make sure that some of those.
Yeah, I would have never thought about an accident form. I don't. Yeah, so those are, they have that. And I'd be happy to set something up and get a couple days from them and send it out to everyone.
And I like the part of the video, is that on this one?
No, that's on revised, and I'm sure that these are all, I'm sure that could be an add-on
I mean, the
to.
reason I like
Yeah.
that is, if somebody looks at our website, not everybody here's like this.
Right,
But again, look at some of the history of the counter that you could have rotating through there.
Right.
yeah, and so we can't have,
Everybody
the basic package does come with rotation, so we can have rotation, so we could just have, picture of the lakes, picture of something historic. We could do that versus we can't do that now. But I just love, like, our lake's prettier than the one they show, but just to have like a drone video come in, I just thought that was amazing. But that's with revised and it's included, and I'm sure if Civic Plus doesn't come with it, it can be an
So do you want to do two with the department head, where they do one Civic Plus and one with the other one, revise? I'm gonna be honest, I'm leaning towards the Civic Plus.
I am too. I know it's more expensive, a little more expensive than Revise, and Revise was really nice. I really appreciate, they were very customer friendly, and they're really wanting to get into everyone, but I mean, there's a reason Civic Plus has,
My big reason
Most of
why I
the
would like the
state.
department heads is to see what they need.
right,
Once we know that, then we get two costs, then we
Right.
can figure out whether.
Right.
I agree.
And I would prefer probably to start with the basic package and at this point and see how it will function for us. And then if, like an employment page that's an
Yeah.
add-on, if we can create our own way to do it, we don't need that.
Yeah, and yeah, and everything can be, as long as we have forms, I think anything can be creatable. Okay.
Thank you.
Do all these have counters on so you can tell how many hits they get?
Oh, thank you, yes, that's,
Man, did you do that?
I'm sorry, no.
Do all these have counters built into them?
They do. Every single one of them has a calendar that you can click and see, so I don't have to use an outsourced
That's
link
right,
calendar.
so-
No, he said.
Well, no,
Oh, counter,
but you
yes.
wanna know how many pages they're going to
Yeah.
and
Oh,
how
counter,
long they're
yes.
on and everything. That's,
Yep, all the back ends show the data and can tell you what pages are functioning. CIC now has a little bit of that. It's it'll do the counter and stuff on the back end, but it doesn't do a
Okay.
whole lot. But I thought you said calendar. That's so our current CIC currently, that what I put in the calendar that's built in, it won't let you see the next month. So even if it's April, April 30th, it won't let you see May 1st until you're May. And even if I put something in, it won't let you click
right,
through.
okay,
So we had to add an outsourced calendar. They all let you click through.
okay.
So,
Thank you.
It's exciting. Okay. One step closer.
Mr. Fine, come on up. You are no longer on deck, you're back. We're doing all this for Wanda today, everything's baseball terminology.
Yeah, so,
So right now you're walking, don't strike out.
yeah.
It was not a good baseball.
No, I see that, they went over this. Weekend.
Hi, I'm today, they did, on the bridge that we're still doing up on Hope, they did get all the columns driven into the ground last week. They started late that day, but they had it all laid out, and they started at 2 and they were done by 5. They had, all of them went in, they hit solid surface, but didn't have any distortion on the pipe, so it went really well. They're supposed to do the north side today, so I don't know if they're up there getting after it yet or not. We got one permit came in, we need signature serial by Michigan Valley off 213. Yeah, it's just replacing existing. It wasn't working anymore.
This is something they do.
What's that?
So what do we do with this here?
You just verify that where it's going in. It's our permit says that if anything in the right of way, if it gets damaged because they didn't put it up enough.
So you just need a motion to approve the very line.
Right. Yep.
So I'll make a motion to approve the very line permit for this board.
It's for CenturyLink.
Okay, for Central.
Yeah. Put in by Telecom Construction.
Right.
Out of Ottawa.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
It's going in Michigan Valley. It's just a little bit north of 213. It's going to be a road 4.
That goes back down.
Seems like a week I forgot that.
I know.
Everybody trained.
Make sure you saw that.
We have the paperwork started. We have the paperwork started to close that bridge.
Barrington Road Bridge, how's it going?
We were rocking it last week. I think they're just about ready to do the final rock. They were finishing up the ditching, so we should be open on Friday. So, cool. And that is it.
And all we have,
Huh?
that's it.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, well, we have,
Kind of short-winded today.
we're just about finished with the parking lot for the, services.
Oh, we're
Association, yeah. We started that, last week.
Also, the gentleman that owns that property there, all those, where they're building apartments out there, nursing home, has indicated that if we need to use that parking area there, that we can use it also. And then also that, at least temporarily, until he gets all this stuff done. And also that we need to develop any kind of security that we can use something that's existing.
Okay, we were talking to the, city of Osage also. They're gonna get with Tammy, I think, and see about getting a street light there, because the one that is over towards the Peterson area is not gonna really light up our parking lot. Just to make it a little bit safer at night after hours and stuff, so we've hauled a lot of rock in there. We sent the roller over today, and we're gonna just kind of work the ground over and stuff. Laid in there, we had a really bad soft spot that kind of went down through the middle of that drain. It kept pumping up moisture and stuff, so we laid extra rock in there and flattened it down. So hopefully that works there. And then We just kind of went off the overhead that we got online and just kind of made sure we were within those boundaries of that.
I'm sure everyone will get a phone call.
Yeah, so I looked at the GIS map and then just a Google overhead and just made sure that we were within those. It shows it where it cheats over towards that metal barn, but I was not gonna block off that driveway right there in that pathway because I realized the neighbors probably been using that and it was like without something properly surveyed out.
Yeah,
I said, we'll just stay in these boundaries that are obvious where we're supposed to be.
I think the railroad's kind of been expanding their side a little bit.
I've seen that.
I think so.
They were getting more out there.
So, Evergy's supposed to start within the next 2 weeks, raising those poles out on Longmaker. I just got off the phone with him just a little bit ago.
Okay.
And, he said they have it's been sent out to the contractor. So I said,
Hey, the asphalt that they're putting down out here, is that the real, is that the asphalt that stays there? On the highway, the green highway? Or is those test strips?
they are going to have to go down and mill that flat when Kilo comes through and they have that portion of Old 75 from where it has all.
But I'm talking about where they're at right now. They're putting.
On 31, yeah, I think that's,
Oh, on
Is that
31.
just testing? Are they gonna pull that back up?
What it looks like, they were doing like the 3-inch and
Yeah,
I think
that's-
they had to pull some of it up because I think they had some base failure or something.
I think that's why I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I think they had to
Yeah.
cut that, dig that back out,
that should
get
be
that
about 8
restabilized.
or 9 inches what they're doing.
Yeah, and usually they like to go about 3 inches at a time because if
Yeah.
you go more than that, you'll get the tracks. And
It was just kind of interesting watching Zoo. I would like to go out there and run one of those rollers for a couple days.
Just back and forth.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Very, very
I
much
must have had
so.
some stress to it somewhere.
Yeah,
We
Get a
have,
couple of those in
and
there.
and they tip over easy too. They do.
yes, they do.
I didn't know
You
that.
get on the edge.
Yeah, if
on
you
the
get on the
shoulder or
edge,
something.
they will go right over
Yeah,
the
Really?
articulation in the center of that thing will just,
So you better be able to jump real good.
Yes.
I've never put one on the side, but I've seen it.
I think I'll share it tonight.
So, and, we had a new hire start today, and we're gonna be doing some training with him on the blade and broom game area.
Cool. All
yes.
Yeah, very fun.
They're waiting for him.
Yeah, I bet. They're starting to light the pitchforks with the hay and everything, starting to circle around out there probably. So, it'll be a learning process for him, but he's operated many other pieces of equipment, so it'll just.
Oh, yeah, okay,
It'll take a little bit, getting them some maps today and having them run the area
right.
and get familiarized where he's gonna be working at and stuff.
Good enough.
All
right. Have a
right,
good one.
thank you all.
Oh, hang on, somebody might have a question for you.
Who takes care of the ride share up there at the roundabout? Is that state or is that county?
Okay,
Oh, he's staying.
Okay. Next, I have another.
Uh-huh.
Your drivers coming in and out of the quarry,
Mhm.
when somebody slows down and pulls over, that does not mean move to the center and go faster.
Yeah.
I had that experience last week.
Yeah, I had a talk with a couple of them last week. We had somebody come in and, we had to sit down.
So I'm not the only one that notices that.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So real quick, Stephanie, before you come up, we're gonna take a quick recess for a bathroom break, but before we do that, we have a resolution that we talked about was this last week?
Yeah, it came up a few weeks ago, we talked about it last week.
So we'll talk about it real quick. It'd be resolution number 2214. And it was a resolution authorizing expanded Sunday sales of certain adult beverage in the original package within the unincorporated area of the county. This is for Sunday sales, which will go from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., except Easter Sunday. So the question is, this resolution will take effect 61 days after publication unless a petition for a referendum is filed for a referendum to be held and a resolution is required. So that's the question is, do we want to act on this and do or make that motion?
What's it currently? And this is for county,
This is county. Right now, we have
I
some
think it's
cities.
noon to 8.
you what?
I think it's noon to
Noon
8.
to 8 on Sunday at any facilities in the county.
Any
In the county.
unincorporated area. Unincorporated.
Cities, they already changed it. This is just for like the marina, Dome, is who actually come in here.
Right.
Couple out towards the lake, out towards Pomona.
Yeah, it's, those are the ones that this will affect, and it's for that 3 hours, they can start at 9 a.m. to 7 a.m. That would be the only change, that a lot of the towns have already changed, this is just the county portion, this does not make this county, it's just the county.
Right.
Which is the same thing.
Yeah.
So with that being said, then I would make the motion to approve resolution 2214, which is the resolution authorizing expanding Sunday sales of cereal malt beverage in the original package within the unincorporated areas that have now on that. So the cereal malt beverage license, there's no more because basically everything's the same street. So does this include or not include? Actually, it doesn't matter, it's not through the liquor store. No. It's county. not
This
city.
is just cereal malt beverage and kind of.
Right.
So the only thing that's a visit gas station, not the ones at Pomona, the Marias,
Right.
puts them on the same playing field
Yeah.
as the White House, so people can actually do it. Right, so that'd be how much of it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Rhonda, can you make sure that resolution is emailed to the paper
I will, yeah, when I take it to lunch.
and publish it once this Thursday? And then
And then it'll be 61 days after all that. before it's,
I would suggest that we probably want to let obviously Dolmans, but the other folks know that once the close to that time running, that, this is going to be in effect.
So let's take a quick recess.
So that make it July 4th.
that's.
Close.
We're close to that.
We're pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
Close.
You look pretty dapper today. I like that color on you. I do.
I'm not saying that this afternoon, but because I didn't.
A lot of men don't feel comfortable with wearing pink.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't go to the co-op.
No, I don't want to go to the co-op.
Yeah.
Thank you for thinking of me, so.
So we've got 4 months this year, right? So budget should be somewhere around that 30%.
Awesome.
Okay. One person, everybody's around 17. I had to get personnel expenses in this report.
It may be because it hasn't posted, because the bookwork hasn't been done since March 20.
So you're in March, Eric. That's what I said, yeah. He's right about that, because I looked at that too.
With the treasurer review, we get it.
I'll take it, Scott. Stephanie Burnett. Come on.
I have a couple of hires. Hiring,
So we.
you need to, they're drivers,
So that's just not making a motion.
yeah, and that should fill up all of her vacancies,
So she'll have 10 part-time.
yes.
So I make a motion to approve the hire of John Rogers and Jonathan
Yes,
Den,
Den,
for general public transportation area of 11 miles per hour.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those are all part-time, right?
correct, part-time, part-time.
Speaking of that, we had a question last week, so let's make sure it's correct. We had a question for me on part-time benefits, something on there.
Well, before they had to do capers covered, but if they're gonna work over 1,000 hours a year, but I don't know until we know that up front, before they've been non-regular part-time, but.
So has anybody thought, I don't know if it's gonna be addressed that issue.
Well, I don't know
Like I said,
but it
there
may be
was-
something to have to track, and if it needs to stay under that, those things.
Well, that's the question, is right now, what's set up is they're gonna have that benefit or not have that benefit. You can't really have.
The ones that were put in, the ones that turned last week were given that benefit.
But we don't know if they qualify.
Well, right, correct. I mean.
They haven't qualified yet, they're, if they work 20 hours
Put
a
it in the
week,
system in the event they qualify.
No, once they get paid, they're gonna get it, so you can't do it that way. We're not gonna get that far.
We're gonna have to know kind of what they work.
Yeah, because once you
Before
put it, you can't take
before
it
they
back.
were kind of like on call.
Yeah, well, that's how it's, that's kind of how it still is, because their hours will ebb and flow with how busy the services are. So there isn't any, we're not guaranteeing them 20 hours. They can work up to 20 hours.
okay, I will notify them and let them know that they're not
Everybody
qualified.
pays on it.
Yeah, they're not guaranteed 20 hours.
Okay,
It's, they can work up
So
to
that's the
20.
question, is let's make
So
sure.
if they don't work over 20, then it's okay.
as long as they don't work over 20.
Right, right.
So we need to award it when we do these hires at the non-regular part-time.
Right.
Okay,
So that's what we need to put
Okay.
in there. So it's
All right.
non-regular part-time and that.
And-
Yeah, so if you did 20 hours a week times 52 weeks, you're at 1,040 hours. So,
They're not gonna do that.
right, so,
so anything 1,000 hours is capers qualified.
right, so if you work 20 hours every single week, you're barely gonna go over it. So they just need to manage it. so that doesn't
Okay.
occur.
And like sometimes I think like people been gone or whatever, so maybe somebody works 30 hours this week, well then next week they might not work at all.
Okay,
You know,
okay, I will contact them and let them know.
So that would be something, I think, between you and Tammy, that probably needs to be managed and kind of, I don't know whose full responsibility that should be, probably be Tammy, just making sure that
That they don't work more
they
than
do not
20.
go over 5,000.
Okay,
That would
Take
be-
advantage of Lana and Linda and any of this stuff, because if there's questions like that, and it's going to be permission for them.
Okay.
I was thinking of when I talked, but I didn't think it would. That's why it was done that way. It wasn't like this to be paid up, so.
And it's also gonna be the responsibility of dispatcher also, because dispatcher is the one that's scheduling the drivers.
Yes.
So there's some coordination's gonna have to occur to be managing those hours.
okay. That it? That's all I have.
That was good. Thank you for bringing us that in last week, and we need to, I guess we had,
I saw some executive sessions and stuff, but I don't know.
yes, so should we have an executive session over that, so we can get, or can we talk about that? What sheet she brought us on the format that we use for HR?
Oh, is this like hiring procedure?
Yes,
Starting-
and
Yes, because there's a lot of different things in there that.
yeah,
that she has
and I
done.
think maybe after, oh, okay, because afterwards, after this afternoon, we can make amendments to that. Are you talking about the hiring process?
The one that you brought to me that showed some of the things, and I don't really know what we can talk about, we can't say talk about it, because it's an executive session under personnel.
Are you talking about
That one.
this deal?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's just general policy, we can talk about it out here. If you're
So the
talking about
policy
specific
is-
individuals,
Okay, so can I have that?
Yeah.
So is this a procedure that you came up with that you would like to implement on the hiring process?
Yeah, and
you'll
just-
educate, or you'll work with all the department heads and say this is kind of the process and how we'll work with your.
yeah,
So here's basically how it goes. The hiring process, the hiring manager notifies human resources of vacant position. The hiring manager will be over department heads. Human resources and hiring manager meet to discuss job description needs of the department for job skills and commission job posting. Job is posted internally and externally. Candidates are sourced by human resources. Human resources ensure applicants have completed application forms, background check, authorization forms, and voluntary EEO forms. Most qualified candidates are identified and presented to the hiring manager. HR and hiring manager meet to create interview questions to be used by all interviews. In-person interviews with hiring manager are conducted. Human resources and hiring manager discuss candidates and the top candidate is selected for the job. Human resources collect all the paperwork and interview process, application and all that. Top candidates reference and background checks completed by HR, human resources and hiring manager discussion agree on job, offer specifics for the candidate, status, payroll change report, form completed by HR resources and the hiring manager. HR presents to the county commissioners candidate information for salary approval. Candidate is formally offered and accepts the job right. HR sends an offer letter to applicant. Human Resources sends communication to other candidates notifying them that the position is filled. Onboarding schedule set up for new hire. Human Resources ensures onboarding paperwork is completed, including non-hiring benefits. Based on the tax forms, HR enters new hire department enters all new hire information into CIC employee record and payroll. And new hire paperwork is delivered to the county clerk's office for payroll process and file. So there's been some questions from elected people. What do it states on it? The in-person interviews are with the hiring manager. So if it's an elected official, they do their own interviews. They still use HR to get their paperwork in order and stuff like that. Because I know you had Sheriff talking to you guys all on some HR. So we just need to make sure everybody understands that it's not, if they want your help, you're there.
Mhm.
If they refuse to take your help, that's up to them, but they still have to go through the insurance forms and all that.
the onboarding.
that's how I see it. I mean, I just encourage to sit down with all the electeds and try to work out, the compromise.
Right, I think we need to have probably a special, not a special meeting, but a day that we bring all the elected people in and
And we
explain
discuss
to them
Yeah,
if we're gonna help, not whatever, and make sure everybody knows what that looks like. I know you guys have worked it out, and opportunity to on that, but there's.
well,
some
as
things-
regarding like the job posting and the resource, the postings and the applications are sourced through, what that means is that I could post them at different various websites so that we get the best qualified applicants. And I just gather the applications. Obviously, if somebody's just worked at Dairy Queen and they're looking for a sheriff's officer, we're not going to forward that one to the sheriff's office unless they want to see every application. And, that's the thing that's part of what we would discuss. If they want to see every application, then we would send it. But that just means they come through me. So we have a listing of who applied. So when we make a selection, we know who to notify that we haven't made that selection.
And if they get an application directly in their department, they can interview that person.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still the elected officials, so they can do that, but at some point in time, they're gonna have to go to HR and get the
The onboarding.
benefits explained.
Benefits, and the new hire
salary,
paper.
because all that, I mean, regardless of who does it, it's got to come. There's some departments that are going by county payroll. The clerk has it, register deeds has it, treasurer's office has it. So there's several of the elected offices, the sheriff's office has it, that they propose to the county, and we've approved it, and that is the county payroll. There's other departments that don't propose that, and if they don't, it needs to go to somebody to get approved, so it has to come here to get approved before that. So they can say it's in their budget. So that's why that's.
So your recommendation was having a meeting, should she do a meeting with the elected officials separately from the non-elected department heads?
I think you can sit down with all of them at once, but I think just because of sheer numbers.
They're different. I mean, we have to.
They are different because we have control over the non-elected.
And the elected, they have some different questions for her than the non-elected, so. Okay.
We have our meetings scheduled with them separately.
Our department head meetings.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. We can
So
do
bring her
that
in at one of
when we do
those
it.
and she'll, okay.
Or if you believe we need to do it before that,
No, that's
then we
fine.
can.
No,
We
that's
can
fine.
play that by ear, and if it becomes something that we need to address quicker than that, we can. But
Okay.
So then on our next department meetings, we'll just plan on her being in each of those, going over that and then answering.
we went over it already with the non-elected
Yeah.
at that meeting.
Okay.
But we did not do it with the elected because of the other things we were doing that day, but we can do that, and we explained that with your help. I don't think we laid out the whole.
No, and I'm not trying to usurp my powers or anything. I'm just trying to support them in the best way because I'm making sure that we're in compliance and we don't get into any wrongful, somebody yelling discrimination because they weren't interviewed or some reason for like that. And that's just my reason.
How does this fit in with the exiting process? Because there are certain procedures that need to occur on an exiting process.
I have created a form when there's an exit, when somebody terminates. And that's something it's in my stuff to do, is I would like to have them fill out that form. It means that if somebody gives them a verbal, that we just ask them to either send an email or a quick note so we have something in writing from the employee that they terminate. Then the termination form, it explains it's the last day they worked, and it's got like a checklist, you have keys and all of those things.
If they were going to do, keep their insurance.
And that's part of what we're trying to, that whoever's administering the COBA, we would notify them of the termination. So right now, other than them giving, I don't know how they notify you if someone terminates.
We get it.
That's
A little sheet, one of these little sheets, yeah.
So that's a project.
So,
for
yeah,
another day.
yeah.
That's coming.
But yeah, it's on one of my to-do lists. It's this tall, so.
So it seems like all this happened at one time, and I think everybody jumped the gun, and it's getting. We started the process, but the process needs to go into now we get everything.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Everything's a work in progress right now, and like, for the orientations are working great, so they just let me know, especially for those that are non-elected, I just bring them in and we go over everything, they're all getting all their information, and
And the employee manual, do they get a copy?
yeah, they get a copy of the employee manual.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. Got a chance to go over. Yeah, let's get it done. Jamie comes in, we can,
Yes.
You had a question on cell phone bills. I wonder how's our cell phone bill set up? Is it, are we all on the same plan?
Yes, we're all in the same company on the same plan.
So how do,
But everybody gets their individual bills.
okay.
So like the sheriff's department is the sheriff's department bills, the county department is the county.
A lot of times they'll break it up, they'll like have circles and they'll write out each department.
So when is the last time we put our cell phone request out for request for proposal?
I don't know, we've ever.
So it's somebody who has an idea what the number of cell phones is we have.
We could go in and look at the bills for years out.
That might be what we're looking at, seeing what contract we're signed up with and see if we can put this out.
I would also
I
say,
mean,
you
you look
know,
at some of the costs on here. Oh, it's very expensive, so whether we can put a package together and maybe get somebody to get competitive here, we can. How much savings?
I wouldn't mind also getting bids on internet service. I don't know, I know sometimes it's limited to your location.
Yeah, we don't have much of that. We come, Century Link.
Well, I think there's only one that has fiber, like, what, we have fiber for the courthouse.
Right, I'm just saying, we didn't. Because they got to pay. So everybody knows what we're talking about. We slimmed the budget down pretty good last year and made everybody pretty much accountable on what we're gonna have to do this year. Looking at increases is we're gonna reduce bills instead of revenue neutral, which I suggest we do. We're gonna figure out how to cut some more money. Not services, but we can cut some budgets or cut some expenses, not necessarily revenue, cut expenses out there that maybe aren't being utilized in its best interest. So that's the idea behind it.
Jennifer, you also have a quick comment there too, as a option for internet.
They're not, I mean, what do you call that? They're not cable, they're
Wireless.
internet based.
Right.
Over
Over
there.
there.
Over
I
there.
can't use those for some of the systems we have. I can't use them on my car lot even, because it couldn't produce what I need.
This is just in-house.
Yeah, no hardware.
One of the big ones on mine was credit card machines.
Yeah.
Stuff that's gotta be secure, can't use that. Now, there are some ways they can do that now.
And I don't think they got the speed up that
I think that might be that new software they've been talking
And
about.
then I'm coming again.
That's how they do it. But I found out, so. I use license. This guy, I say, long ago.
That's right.
I brought them down here.
I thought you told me that was the new software, but I can go check. I just thought that's what you told me, but I'll go ask him.
Sure.
No. No, that, yes.
Well, that's.
That's how to do
That's why it's all probably.
Yeah.
So,
This is another one we need to look at on an annual basis. I see it. He's interspersed. He's gonna go outside.
Yes, that is the new software.
Can I have 507?
Sure. Almost survived.
Even though this is, I think when you get that request, say, right,
Yes.
there are certain fees.
Right.
I'd like to see what the total amount is. Because I don't know if this is like a one-time thing or if there's multiple steps that things is due.
When I go upstairs, I will try to find that.
Yeah, and then can I also get something to, I kind of like to see on an annual basis.
Okay.
Those things get spread out throughout the departments, so it's hard to see what it's really costing.
Okay, it may be something I have to email you. What was, this was, yeah, it's, Garrett.
What's his face?
Okay, got it. I can get that for you.
Did you ask Rob about that one insurance premiums?
Yeah, I'm gonna check it, like, maybe you guys are at lunch and have a chance to check it.
So, that's what it is. So these payroll calculations are correct.
Those are correct, yes. Those are talking payroll system, yes, ma'am. Yes.
is this you?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's, this is, yeah, and then this is appraiser, and it's, yeah. That's just the order of the appraiser.
This is, because I don't know how CIC works.
Right.
If this budget, if the payroll calculation for this month is correct, everybody getting paid, something that doesn't show on this.
So the payroll works over here, and we bill the payroll, okay? So the payroll's bill, all the reports are ran out of it, there's a file that goes out there and sits. And when the treasurer gets to that day of business, then they pull that file over, and it joins the budget. So they're separate, and then it creates like a transfer of data, it creates a post out there. And then when they hit that day, they grab that post and apply it. Do you want me to go ahead and take the vouchers up, or are you ready to do that?
What's that?
Are you ready for the vouchers to go up, are you done?
Yeah.
You just had that one question on that one. She wants us to make that motion.
Say again.
She wants to know if you're making the motion to pay.
Are we ready?
Sure, no, if you if you're ready.
All right, I will make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $160,752.93, and also payroll in the amount of $573,661.68.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Do I have 10 minutes? I have 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna run these up then so that you can start on, and I'm also real quick gonna scan and email that publication, so don't worry about it. Brain with me.
Pat, you got 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Or 2 minutes?
Mr. Driver,
Yes.
you the only one left?
Oh, yeah, temporarily.
Oh, they're all in executive session, are they?
Yeah. No. Well, they're having a little conversation and Heather's went somewhere else, so. Yeah, so,
I just wondered, how you doing today, guy?
okay, how are you?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad.
Good.
Anyway, I asked Jay the other day when I see him, but I figured I'd come in here and ask, since the whole council's here. The Lions Club in Linden is saving plastic to be turned back in and taken out of landfills. And there's a company that lets us do this, and they've given us these plastic containers. They're probably this big, not that tall.
Okay.
To put someplace for people to put plastic into. It's gotta be stretchable plastic. not like plastic water bottles or anything like that. Stretchable plastic like baggies, shrink wrap, bubble plastic, bags like your salt comes in for your water softener, that's a stretchable plastic. Anyway, but we just wanted to know if they're not real heavy, they're made out of that, styrofoam stuff that they put yard signs out of, that kind of corrugated stuff.
Right.
It's what it's made out of, it's
Okay.
not heavy.
Right.
But we're afraid if we put it outside, it'd blow away. We thought maybe we could put one in the corridor out here so the people that work in the courthouse could bring in plastic if they wanted to.
Okay.
But that was but the Lions Club is just taking it on as an environmental project.
Right.
To try to keep
Well,
from going into the.
That's good because that's a completely different type of plastic
Yeah,
than most people are collecting.
yeah. A lot of people collect water bottles and.
Well, I know, but
Aluminum cans.
the trouble is people contaminate it with the other stuff anyway.
Yeah, well, like Walmart bags, Dollar General bags, those
Right.
are all stretchable plastic that can be
Right, yeah.
brought in here, stuffed into the bag. And that's the reason I came in, to maybe
Yeah.
put one in the foyer out there.
Yeah.
Courthouse to bring that stuff in. Anyway, we got 3 of those containers. They gave us 3. We're supposed to, Lions Club, what they can get out of it is, if you collect 500 pounds, you know how much 500 pounds is of plastic like that? That's a lot of plastic.
Well, yeah, right.
Then they would give us a park bench
Oh, okay.
that we can donate to the city. Put in
Right,
town,
okay, yeah.
walking trail, stuff like that. We can only do that once every 6 months. Yep, we've already collected 500 pounds, we've already got a park bench coming. Now we're working on our second 500 pounds. But they finally got the containers to us that we can put out, so that's what I was gonna ask about.
So the bags that they put like a newspaper in when they throw you.
Yeah, bread wrappers, well, not bread wrappers, they're stretchable
Okay,
plastic.
yeah.
You know, baggies, like you put sandwiches in.
Right.
I put them.
They don't have to be cleaned or anything,
Nope.
just,
Yep, just put it in the bag, get ready to make. We can put all our stuff in a Walmart bag.
Right.
It gets so full that,
yeah, right.
you know, that's kind of thing. Is what it's for, but like I say, if I came in to ask if we could do that. I mentioned it to Jay, oh, shoot, week and a half ago, he said, come see the janitor.
Yeah.
But like I say, I didn't know whether that's something we could do or not.
Yeah,
Thought I'd better come in and ask the commissioners, make sure.
yeah.
It's your house, I don't want to.
I don't see a problem with it, you know.
Well, I didn't think they would, but I
You don't
thought
know.
I'd come in and ask. Anyway.
A lot of people will do something that was pretty convenient for them to do.
Yeah, well, they come to work here every day.
Well, that's what I said,
Hey,
you got
bring
quite
it
a
back
few
and
people,
stick it
and
in
it's
there.
pretty easy for them to come in and say, okay, yeah, I
I can stick it
got
in
those
there.
kind of bags.
Yeah. Quite a few people work here
But,
to do that. Miss Heather Tudor,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm good, how are you? Do I know you?
I'm one of your constituents for your area,
What is your name?
Bill Carr.
Bill Carr.
Used to have cars, golf carts.
Oh, yeah, I think you know my father. Did you have insurance with Dennis Donnelly at one point?
Yep, Dennis Donnelly.
That's my dad.
Is that right? Well, I haven't seen him in ages. He comes out to Lamont all the time. I live there now, but I haven't seen him in ages.
Yeah, he golfs out there a lot, yeah.
Yeah, he's over here a lot. I know that. Yeah, Sean's your brother. Is that right? I talk to him on the phone every once in a while, but.
Yeah.
That's usually when I call, need this done and that done.
Yeah.
The insurance wise, I call Sean.
Oh, so he's,
It's
okay,
easier to get hold of him than to get hold of his dad.
yeah.
He's retired. He's like being retarded now, so he's retired.
He still goes to the office every day, but he does most managerial, the administrative and all the financial side of it.
Yeah.
Sean does most of the sales and things.
Did you used to live right behind Gary Silverson's crap?
Yes.
Used to years ago?
Yep, yes, we did. We lived there 13 years.
I gotta say, I used to go see Gary all the time, get upholstery work done on the golf carts and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gary was a heck of a nice guy. I really liked him. He was a super guy. Now, Lynn Silvers is his brother, and Lynn is my son's father-in-law. My son Scott married Jeanette, which is Lynn's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then there's Dawn Silvers who lives up. Yeah, Carbondale. But anyway,
Yeah, we lived across from them for 13 years. They're like grandparents to us.
and we still, the only reason I knew you lived over there because, your hubby was wanting a golf cart at one time, way years ago.
Yeah, I think we came down and looked at it one.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I used to be at, when Gary's shop there, going back, going parked in the alley, between you two guys' houses.
Yeah, he did boats.
Yeah, both,
And cars and golf carts.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I used to go over there and do is when I had trailers that I strapped down my golf carts with big straps. Well, the ones you buy are like 27-foot long. I don't need 27-foot long straps. I need about 12-foot long straps. So I'd take them over to him and we'd cut them in half and he'd stitch them for me on the machine.
Yeah.
Those straps are real thick and heavy. He'd stitch them for me. I'd go over there with about 4 or 5 of them. He'd do that for me in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, he had a nice little setup there.
Yep. He was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He didn't like doing boat covers or, car covers, something, because they're so big.
Right.
He didn't want his table and his machine to try to stitch them up. He didn't like doing that kind of stuff.
I had to see for road crew.
Yeah.
And that was did a good job on it.
Who gave you that? Because surely you didn't buy it. Surely he didn't buy it. I don't want that coat you got on. Anyway, I just came in to ask about putting that tub in here for that plastic stuff. You told me to go see the janitors, but I thought I'd better come and ask since it's your guys' house. I didn't want to be it up.
They got room?
I've never asked them yet. Anyway.
I don't have a problem with it.
That was almost some of that.
Yep, I'll ask him. I'll stop over and ask him and stuff. Anyway. All right, guys, I'll get out of your hair so you can do some business.
Go do something, even if it's wrong.
Well, let's don't do anything wrong. Let's make it right.
Yeah.
See y'all later.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Mrs. Scooter.
Yes, you do.
Hey, did you want to, hey, Bill?
Yeah.
You're in the last note, right?
Yep, that's what this is. We're gonna
Did
sell,
you,
we're gonna raffle a quilt tonight. Looks like it.
I have 6 tickets for sale for $50 if you want some.
Well, I got 36 tickets here. I'll sell for $100 something. You got your names on them? Oh, you got your name on them already. Good, cool.
I'll change your name if you give me $50.
Yeah, I bet you, if I give you $50, it only cost you 20. He's always trying to make
He's a
money.
little quicker than you thought.
I'll get it later.
Yeah. We draw for it tonight. So we'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
I never win, so that's fine.
Yeah.
You donated to a worthy cause.
Come on up, Tammy Thunder. And we're gonna have to wait a little bit for Ron to get back. But I guess you're probably gonna talk to us about the building you're in. I can't believe you're in it. I did go look at it.
I can't think what it costs.
About all
Did we get that turned into the insurance?
It was, pretty good, but
I thought I was in pretty high price. More than close.
I think there's the 13. I'm not certain.
Yeah. I thought 3 was gonna be high price.
Well, no one is looking to do it.
Well, yeah,
Well,
no,
it's the
that,
same thing. It's just one of them's itemized, labor and materials. But that's the email that, so I don't know that if we actually need to sign anything because the insurance agent gave him permission to do it.
his insurance?
Our insurance, which the way I understand it, that's the way that it does work when I talk to Ron.
rated the auto, then a lot of times in Kansas, it doesn't matter whose fault it is initially, your carrier pays it.
Well, what
Then they
he's-
go back to the
Right.
carrier to get reimbursed.
Right, what he sent out in that email to Reno was that we would pay him and then they will reimburse the county.
So has this already been, you've already sent this in?
I don't know what you mean by that, because
They have told these guys to do the work.
yeah, on the email there.
That's what I see here, it says.
Yeah,
that,
I mean, he sent it to me and him both.
And the claim should go to our carrier.
It did.
And our
I mean,
carrier
I
should-
contacted them and I sent them a copy of the accident report.
By our carrier saying that we pay it and they refund us, right?
Yeah, that's what is that correct?
That's
Which-
what we normally, that's not normally how insurance.
I mean, that's if it's our fault, but this one's not, that's why I keep wanting the other insurance company, we contacted it, the other insurance company, of the driver.
I didn't contact them, I just contacted our insurance. I thought that our insurance company contacted the other.
Well, you can do it either way, but typically you go to the convenient way is you go to your own insurance.
Right.
company. They take care of it and then they subrogate against the
Right.
at-fault party.
Yeah, because otherwise you might be waiting so
So we
long
need to
time.
sign off on this or not?
I can't.
It doesn't look like it to me, it looks like, according to the email, that the insurance company's already gave permission to do the work.
The process of us paying and then get reimbursed by our carrier seems odd to me. Normally you send a claim to the carrier and they pay the person providing the service.
Normally, yes. I mean,
She's saying that they said the county's supposed to pay it and then K-Camp will reimburse us, and that's not normally how an insurance claim works.
That's how it worked on our vehicles.
I said, that's how it works
Isn't
on
it?
the sheriff's. deal,
Yeah, that's
too.
not working with the sheriff.
So maybe that's how it Dick, yeah,
I mean, that's how it, when I
Right.
wrecked an ambulance, that's how it worked.
I guess they figured the county has the money to front that order, and then the individual's not gonna do that.
I don't know.
That'd be my guess.
And then you said we have a $500 deductible.
To $500,000.
We should not pay any deductible.
I don't know.
Well, the other company will have to pay for
Right, so we should get
the
that.
insurance.
Right.
They hit it.
And when I say we, I'm talking about the county.
well, I mean, I think the easiest solution to this is just calling our insurance company and talk to them about it. Because, I mean, it can go either way. Sometimes they pay you and then, or you pay it and then you get reimbursed, or they pay it directly, so.
I don't know. I just know that it's getting harder and harder to lock it, and we want to make sure that we get it
Well,
fixed.
according to that, he's told them to come fix it.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
At one point,
He's approved it.
and this isn't in writing anywhere, but somebody asked him how long it would take, and he said it could take 6 to 8 weeks just to get the
parts.
parts.
Right.
Man, we can't fix that.
No, I know, but I just don't want to
I double
delay
check
him
with the
to,
Insurance company though, just before we assume that, but it looks like
you want me to? I mean, I asked him, and he just told me that that's the way it's done. So, I mean, I don't know what else you want me to do.
You've asked the KCAM about that?
Mhm.
Are they, is that the claims agent you're speaking to? Is he the claims agent?
Yes,
For
yes.
K-Camp?
Well, yeah, for this instance,
Heather, would
yeah.
you like to reach out to the staff and find out?
So he seems that he wants us to pay it and we get reimbursed.
That's what he said.
And then who is reimbursing us on the deductible? Or is that just part of the policy we explained at the deductible?
Well, as far as our own company is concerned, if there's a deductible, then we're gonna eat it. When they try to get their money back, they typically try to collect our deductible.
Okay, I'll just verify. It may be the process they do, it's just, that seems odd to me.
I know you did go there.
Do you want all of this email?
Right.
I just need, I need like if there's a claim number, I need a claims agent number, so that when they call them, they're gonna ask you for a case number.
I don't think there's a case in there, and I didn't bring them. That's, yeah, well, yeah, I think that's it. Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Have a good day.
Mhm.
I'll hold it, no, Michael. I just seen somebody like that. Michael or township issues, come on up.
I don't know your comment about the name of Amanda or Christine. That's what everybody else wants is here today.
If you want to, we'll call you whatever you
You
want.
call me whatever you want. I got a handout here that, as I've done in the past, as far as I'm listing out what I'm planning on talking to. Yeah. First of all, my name is Michael Lawler. I am the Ridgeway Township trustee. My address is 181 West 110th Street, Carbondale, Kansas. So I wanted to come back and just update the county commissioners on a couple of, I got a couple of topics I want to talk about. One is to update you on some things as far as there, and then asking for action needed. So just to review on our year-end financial reporting, on Monday, January the 24th, I presented to the Psychosocial County Commissioners, so you guys, the Ridgeway Township Annual Review and Update. Due to several issues I explained as a township trustee, I was not be signing the Ridgeway Township year-end financial report that was due by January 31st, 2022, or at least I wasn't going to sign until there were some issues resolved. You as the commissioners agreed to extend the deadline to February 14th to allow the Ridgeway Township Board to resolve the issues. Between January 24th and the 31st, an action plan was developed to resolve the outstanding issues. However, due to non-cooperation between township board members, the 2/14 deadline was not achieved. But there was an agreement to finalize a year-end financial report by February 17th, 2022, through a special meeting of the Ridgeway Township Board. We met, and on 2014, we met then as far as for that. But backing up a little bit, on February 14th of 2022, I again met with you guys as the county commissioners to request an extension to Friday, February 25th, as a deadline for filing the year-end financial report. And thank you for your assistance. And all the paperwork was submitted by that deadline and everything was completed. As you may recall from my first presentation, the county commissioners then, the reason for the year-end deadline for the township's financial report is so that the county commissioners may review, verify by affidavit, and approve each township's year-end financial report per state of Kansas statute KSA 8304. And I think I've got copies of that, but I think it goes back to, I think we talked about that back at that point in time. So the action needed is on Tuesday, March 22nd. I spoke with the county clerk, Rhonda Betts, about the county commissioners would be completing their review and approval. She stated the year-end township financial report had not yet been finalized at that point in time due to the county commissioners' extremely busy schedule with other higher priorities. And as we all know, you guys have been extremely busy. But she would try to get it to the commissioners for review and approve it in the next 2 to 3 weeks. However, I don't believe, unless it was just done this morning, that has happened yet. So when will that approval occur is what my question is, or when will that actually be brought to the county commissioners meeting? The reason why I'm asking that is for your information. I am being asked for a Kansas Open Records Act request by a county constituent to provide the Ridgeway Township finalized year-end approved financial report. I believe that request has went to all 16 townships throughout Osage County. So I think we're all would be waiting on approval of that to make sure our financials are officially approved. So that's really the action needed, and that's the questions I'm here to talk to you about today as the first topic.
Do all of this get presented to us at once?
Yes, and I can bring down the note for next week and just put 30 minutes on the agenda, wherever we can fit it on.
So they've all been submitted and we decided.
And I haven't, the other townships haven't requested anything. I think they feel that what they have that's signed off on when they come in is their copy, because that's all I asked. One township came in and said they'd lost their top page and they wanted a copy of it. But
So
I
what
will
do
say,
we
you just look at them and say, okay, or not, I mean, you just look at through them. So I will bring it up again next week and I'll put 30 minutes on the agenda.
So my question is, what are we looking at?
Their annual report.
So it's just, basically, we're just saying what they put in.
Right.
As well, because we're not gonna know what goes on there.
But it's also kind of
I
a check
think
and
it-
balance that it's getting,
yeah, I think
that it's
there's-
getting completed. I think that's part of it.
There's certain things that I think I've been looking at is you've got board members that get paid. So one of the things is, have they went through the formal process of approving those board members' pay or not? Some of that's in there because that's supposed to be done. There's some things also about, just overall, how much is being spent on the roads versus administrative. There's checks and balances to look at from that standpoint, I believe. There's things like that, it's a check and balance process more than anything else. And that's what the county commissioners, because you ultimately collect all the taxes and forward that taxes out to the township, then part of it is it being spent properly? And you're not accountable for that. That's up to the township.
Township sets their own road rate.
That's exactly right.
We just, we collected the taxes.
Yep.
What have they done in the past with those ones?
Just look at them, just look at them basically. And I don't know if you need 30 minutes or if you need 2 hours. Before, it's been a pretty easy process.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I've been looking at, and I know that in a lot of cases that the county has no control over the township because they're set there to that direct. I understand that. So there's not gonna be a whole lot of just approving that whatever they send in is what they have us for.
I think it's also, Jay, and I think we talked about this, or at least it's been talked about, as we look at the mill levies, as we look at the, where the taxes are going and everything else, it's a good idea to have more than one set of eyes just looking to see what's happening. And hopefully there's becomes, going forward, a partnership more about townships, county, working together, cities working together in this county so that we can move forward as a group and be more successful rather than this, well, the county does this, the townships do this, and let's stay separated. It's how do we work together, government entities, to minimize the taxpayer's expense? And I think that's why
I wouldn't disagree.
I'm asking for that.
I'm all for that.
I know.
However, there's 16 townships and you might be the only member of the township board in the division that's there.
Because that's you,
And
but they're
we need more Mr. Dollars.
Well, I think,
A lot of work for the benefit.
I was looking in the audience here to see, but I think there's a couple other townships that are also willing to work on this together too. And hopefully they'll be here at some point in time too. So I appreciate it if you guys can get those reviewed. And Rhonda, thank you. I can forward on what we've got already to meet with this Open Records Request Act, but I've communicated back within the 3-day time period that I would be getting it. And I said, I just was waiting for that, but I can do it anytime at all. So. Second thing is rock acquisition. And this is not really, what I want to say, it's more to educate, it's more questions, direction, it's more about that type of thing. And that topic is pertaining to previously Ridgeway Township. We purchased our gravel just south of our township. And there at the quarry that's there. And we were not, well, how do I want to word this? We were probably not as satisfied with the quality of rock that we were getting out of that and putting it onto the roads. So next we went and the Ridgeway Township started purchasing gravel about twice as far away from the previous location. And we were, we took an additional expense to haul it a little bit further, obviously. And there's, the quality of rock was better. So we were good with that. Now, because of recent activity that's been going on, we're going now twice as far as that again. And we're going on down further into the county to get the rock that we're needing. And with the quality of rock available, the price of fuel, and even the cease and desist order that was issued last week with the one rock quarry, it's beginning to cost much more to get for rock acquisition in Ridgeway Township. And I think we're all aware of that. I think we're all incurring that expense, whether it's the county, whether it's the townships, whatever. But my question is what's being done to continue to reduce the expenses in rock acquisition throughout the county? Are negotiations continuing to occur with the rock quarries in our county? And what can the townships do to help in this process of using the taxpayers' money wisely? And I know that that's not a simple yes, no answer. I understand that, but it's more about how can we all work together to help make that happen?
Most of our quarries, I haul out of the quarries, so
Yep.
I'm familiar with it. Most of our quarries are kind of seasonal quarries. They run during the summer And then somewhere around November, December, they'll shut down and rebuild the crushers and bearings and stuff like that.
Right.
And so you start out with a stockpile, and some of it's pretty good rock, and then sometimes when you get to the bottom of the pile, it's not as good.
Right.
So, and as far as I don't know if they're crushing up there again yet or not.
They are not, well, I'm assuming you're talking about the one clear the way up north.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And I would take and tell you, they may be crushing again, but the quality of the rock that we get out of there is not the good quality
There's
rock.
no,
I mean, it's
unless it's a
best
state
case.
specification that the state requires and they're crushing for a specific project, you get whatever they want.
That's exactly right. And the quality of rock there is not the best payment for the taxpayers' money. So the question is, how do we go about negotiating that?
That's beyond our ability.
In this case, the townships are kind of on their own because they're separated from the county, so.
Right.
What the county looks at is road agreements for our road that they have to get in and out. I mean, you're talking about setting a price, and I don't know if there's any quarry yet that'll set a government price per se. Which I agree, we probably should have done that a long time ago, because I know for a fact that we have some townships in the southern part of the county that can't use a quarry in this part of the county because the rock just isn't acceptable to them. So one of the quarries you're talking about that you utilize a lot, nobody will go get it out. So they did apply for a new CP to create another quarry, but they don't want to take care of the road. So there's not, you're talking about taxpayer money, that goes all hand in hand, that if the money you save buying rock, you gotta turn around and charge the whole county to fix the road, it should be covered. Then you got that problem. So as far as to answer your question on how you would do that in your own budget, you gotta, I mean, it's just like the county, we've gotta look around. We've got townships, and this is what's sad to me, is we've got townships in Osage County that is actually buying rock outside the county. We have 5 rock quarries in Osage County. Why on God's creation do we need to go buy rock anywhere in Osage County? Except, one, you got price, and 2, you got location. So that question goes hand in hand, is if the quarries don't want to reduce the prices, then the option is go somewhere else and get it. And that's kind of what's happening. I mean,
Yeah, as I look at right now, as I look at where the quarries are located and everything else, the southern townships do have quarries that they can go to get rock.
everybody has a quarry that goes to get rock.
Let me restate. That's a very shorter distance than what some of us have. In our situation, we have a long distance of travel to get that rock, if we're gonna try to stay inside of Osage County. And that became even further direction, a longer direction, because of the cease and desist order. So the question becomes, is that still?
Cease and desist orders because they don't have a permit.
Got it.
So that's not because you're not.
No, I got it. But it's impacting us, our ability to buy.
That again, you just let them do whatever they want.
No,
They have to have
no.
rules, that's what you're asking.
Or I'm asking, is the negotiations going to continue to still work?
Negotiations are ongoing, they're the ones that have decided not to have negotiations.
Okay.
So that's up to them. Will I say that we will pay for their road? Absolutely not, I would never do that.
Right.
If you had to live on Watermark Road, neither would you.
I would not either. I agree.
So I get your point that you're in Ridgeway, which is the northern part of the county. And there's not a quarry there except Farmers Creek, but you don't want to utilize it. But you still have the one that is mainly all asphalt and no gravel road will never get used. So the quarry locations mean a lot to some people. They don't mean a lot to the people that are taking the rock up to the other areas or more in western Kansas or wherever. They don't know where the rock's coming from. But go talk to the people who live on these roads and have to travel those roads, they care a lot.
That's right.
And when you got 4 miles of road, it's a whole lot different than if you got a half mile.
Right.
So there is a quarry right out here that is not a very far distance. Probably is a shorter distance for you than it is to the quarry you're referencing on Walmart. And it's just this way. And it's all highway.
Yeah, I think the question about that is,
And they got some of
the question of that is, I've been challenged about the quality of that rock though too.
So the rock out here
Yes.
is probably some of the best.
Some of the
rock.
best rock? Okay.
Yes. Now, is there some better rock south? Possible. But if you're comparing 189 to Quinlan, and I call them whatever, it's Spell Street and Quinlan, I know that Quinlan Quarry has some excellent rock. If you could use that rock
Okay.
a lot more, if the pricing was correct. I can't control that because they're business. What bothers me on that one though is when other counties can come by gravel cheaper in Osage County than the county. That doesn't make any sense to me.
So part of the negotiation then with that plan, would it benefit the county as a whole if the townships would work together and come to you with an amount saying, here's what we're willing to purchase?
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you take those numbers and put them together, however, I don't know if that's legal or not. And that's been a question I've asked several times is, if the county knows we're gonna use 40,000 tons of gravel, and the township knows they're gonna use 30,000 tons of gravel, can you go and combine those as a government agency to negotiate, hey, we'll buy 70,000 tons of gravel at this price? I don't know if we can do that because we're not the authority for those townships, and that's what I've asked several times, and I don't know if anybody's giving me the correct answer or not. Now, we can set a government price, but we can't guarantee how much gravel we're gonna get.
Would that be something that fall under like an interlocal agreement or something?
Well,
You
that's
could
also,
possibly do that.
yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
something that.
I guess the question I was asking there is there some way to work together? You know, one of the things that, you know, we saw in the presentation
Absolutely.
last week, that entities, in order to keep taxes as low as possible, have got to start figuring out how to work together, whether that's across townships, across counties, across
Oh, I agree.
bigger entities. So the question is, how do we start that process? And can we get that process started and start addressing some of that?
And your other point on location is the people of the southern part of the county or the other townships are kind of like you got. I mean, and I'm not picking on Ridgewood, but you're one of the blessed townships in the county. So you have a pretty good budget compared to if I go to Argonia, if I go to Lincoln County, if I go to those, the budgets are very small. So when we're sitting here talking about that and we're talking about travel costs, I don't think it would be fair that those people would pay for your travel costs and get off there with the gravel. So, because you're not gonna get them money by gravel.
Right.
So that's where the catch is that how do you ever get that fair deal? I mean, I can't, there's times that they would have poured up there, it'd be nice to have. They tried to have a port up there and it wasn't in the best location.
Right.
Now, there's other areas, but I don't know, I mean, that's up to a business that has to make that decision. If they don't make that decision, then the question is, how do you get the gravel where it's at now, at the cheapest cost too? I don't know the answer to that. Right now, the fuel costs are where it is, and I've seen this morning, it went up again.
Yes,
So, I mean, I don't.
Jay, I would
It's not gonna go
also
away.
take and say, the other part of that is as you think through that part of it and start talking about negotiations of that part, I think part of the question is you're right, some of those southern areas have a less expense there and they have a less budget there. Got it, understand that. The question becomes, is the wear and tear on those roads versus a busier area higher than? And also the other thing, and you brought it up a number of times, is the revenue neutral rate. The question is which townships have raised their rates versus leaving their rates low. And I think you saw it there the other night. I mean, Ridgeway Township, we've got zero increase. So we are trying to play that part of being frugal with it, but there's others that are raising the rates, which is going to cause them to get more money too.
That's their choice. I mean,
That's exactly right.
They're represented, they elect those people to represent their own township.
Right.
When we ran for election, the two of us are sitting right here, president this year, but I think everybody's made that commitment that we're not raising taxes.
Agree.
So we're not gonna raise taxes, where's the money gonna come from?
Right.
Well,
We have to look at how do we control expenses,
But we
right?
know right now the fuel's up.
Right.
We know how many times in the past has the rock quarries raised their prices because of fuel costs.
They're not lower.
How many times they will come back
Yeah,
down
they
after
don't.
they've gone up?
They don't.
They don't. Once they get the increase, they say, well, that's kind of what happens in taxation. I've looked at our county and I've seen what we've done for the past 10 years and how much our budget has grown. It ain't going down. I mean, we talk about all the time, why do we need more money? Why do we need more money? Well, because we're spending more. Why are we spending more? Nobody wants to answer that. You just keep spending money. We're gonna have some discussion later, we'll go over this a little bit more, but when you spend money, it has to be funded. There's not a tree that we shake and it drops out. So, although there's a lot of people that believe that, and when I say that, I'm talking about people that are spending. But until you get the spending under control, once the spending's under control, then you don't look at all, it's not always about how much more dollars can we receive.
Right.
Sometimes it's about how do we save money that we already have.
Right.
And cut the budgets that way, and then once that happens, that's how you fix it.
Well, that's why.
Answer your question on the rock, because that's your question.
Right.
I don't think there is an easy answer to that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, where you're at, unless you go, in your case, you're probably closer to quarries that are outside of our county than you are inside the county. Am I closer?
It's very close. I've looked at the distance. It's very close.
Right.
It's
And
like-
then the tax money would come to us because it's destination.
Absolutely, then it's us. Well,
No, they exempt, but.
Yeah, sales tax in Texas.
We get it here too.
Right.
That's the other part, is that there's a lot of things wrong with the way these agreements are set up. And I'm not blaming this on anybody, but the fact of the matter is, we have some of the absolute worst road agreements I believe I've ever seen in my life.
I agree.
Why they were done that way, I can't tell you, but I can tell you this, they're not protecting the taxpayers of the county. Absolutely, they're doing the exact opposite. We're paying for these businesses to have roads, and that's not fair.
So that's one of the things I guess I'm asking about is, so I'm here representing Ridgeway Township. So what can we do? How can we help? How can we work together to help that occur? And I don't know that I don't have the silver bullet. I don't know what it is. But I think by working together, maybe there's some possibilities that we can share resources, share something. Whereas in the past, there hasn't been that sharing back and forth at all.
I mean, I can tell you what that county did, they don't know for their own county. Now, is that an answer? Probably not, because I would hate to guess how much money that becomes.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you'd have to have everybody out, but yeah, I mean, I'm just throwing out what they did.
Right.
I don't know the answers to all those questions.
But what I'm concerned about is let's not set it on the back burner and forget about it. We got to continue to negotiate. We got to continue to work it through and try to find a solution.
But I can't, or I won't. And I don't think anybody in here on these 3 seats will negotiate with themselves.
No.
If nobody wants to negotiate, there's not to negotiate.
Right, right.
So, and that's the problem, is that, and you can't, we're not gonna take a deal that's bad for the county.
No, I don't want you to do that either.
So-
That would not be what Ridgeway Township's best interest would be either.
Well, here's what they do, and I mean, I'll tell you how people negotiate. If I'm them, I'm gonna do the same thing they're doing. They're out there, every one of you guys, quarries, they're going to talk to townships, you're gonna lose this, you're gonna lose this, and But the real picture isn't even about that. Because it's not like there's not rock.
Right.
It's where do you go? With them, they're looking at how do they save the best amount of money, and they're going to get public opinion, trying to get on their side, saying you guys are being unfair or whatever. But let's just go back and look. If you've got 4 miles of road and you get $15,000 to take care of 4 miles of road, and it costs you $10,000 some dollars to do down dust control, what do you got left?
Right.
I mean, our own estimates.
I would be asking this same question to Hams, and that's why I'm doing it publicly.
It says it's $80-some thousand, $67,000, and you get bridges, so you're talking $80-some thousand a year. Well, we're not gonna do that for $10,000, it's not gonna happen, I mean, that's not fair to the taxpayers.
Right.
So that problem is, if we're not backing down, regardless of whether the township comes in and saying it's a closer avenue for them to get right or not, that's not the point. The point is, we gotta represent the whole county. You just represent one area, but we gotta do the whole county. I get your perspective, but you gotta understand where we're coming from. We have to look at it from the taxpayers of the entire county.
Right. And I think, and I would be sitting here asking the same question of Hams. What are they doing to renegotiate with us too? And that's why I'm here publicly, is to make that statement, because we all need to figure out what is a good solution.
We offered them, in our opinions, a very, very, very fair agreement, and they didn't want it. That was their choice. Now, on the other part of it, we just issued a letter because their CUP had expired. And all that letter said was they had 30 days to come within compliance.
Okay. So there is some progress,
So the
hopefully.
cease
to be
and
made.
desist, whatever, that's what the letter may say, but it's a 30-day come in compliance. If they don't come in compliance, then yeah, they wouldn't be there.
Okay. So at least there's some sort of ongoing now
going forward.
The ball's in their court.
The ball's in their court.
Their
Hopefully there's a-
application is they presented, they want to
Okay,
progress. We
good.
did not come to agree together on agreement. It's in their court.
Okay.
Whatever they'll do. I can tell you this, most places, if there's something there that somebody wants, they're gonna figure out a way to get it.
Okay, very good. And that's the only two topics I had really. I just wanted to bring those back to you.
How many miles of road do you have?
We have 66 miles of road.
Okay.
And you knew that. That's good, Heather.
Yeah.
How many miles paved versus gravel?
Well,
It's all gravel.
all townships.
All townships are all gravel.
Right, but, so.
Yeah.
I'm Burlingame Township and we're over 100 miles.
Yeah, and I think you guys
We're
get,
farther away.
I think you're getting all your gravel from other places too, aren't you?
Well, they get it wherever,
Wherever, yeah.
same thing, you
Right,
know,
right.
but.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna recess for lunch. And we will come back here at 12 noon. We'll start with Zach Hobbs and then the interviews in the afternoon, those are the public building commission. Is that correct? So
Yes.
at some point in time, we'll cancel this meeting and go to the next. But we're gonna recess for now.
And are those,
We'll come back here, let's come back at 11:50. Everybody get like 10 minutes early.
and are those interviews an open session on DEC?
Yeah.
Are you needing us or something?
Yeah.
We're just going to recess. We won't go to recess yet.
Yeah.
Those servers we talked about last Monday,
The what?
the server,
Server.
Oh,
Yeah.
going paperless. You said to bring it back today, so here we are. There's two different quotes we got. The other company, they didn't give us a bid, so we still haven't got one. But their bid for a firewall was $10,000 higher than this company.
So I vaguely remember these.
Right.
But we had to go down on this.
This is the total. This is the total for the
System of insurance
in-house
company go to
server.
papers, correct?
Yeah.
That's just the server.
That's the in-house server. That's,
Right.
and then,
I think that was recurring, isn't it?
no,
Or, let's see, 125, 270.
non-recurring.
Okay, so it's this, and this.
They're all recurring.
Oh,
This is the recurring.
yeah, that's one recurring, this is recurring.
So this is the cloud-based.
Right.
So these are two different systems.
Two different systems doing the same thing.
Right.
So we just need to figure out which one. To me, it makes more sense to buy our own server. That way
Yes.
we're not paying reoccurring fees
Which
because,
is the first one.
yes,
And what do you have now?
nothing.
The one we have now is on premise, but it's old, yeah.
We don't
Is
have
that- is
enough of this though.
No,
This is
no.
the going paperless part.
Yeah.
We have another server for CAD and stuff, but that's not related.
So you're looking at a server or offsite backup for all of your files that
Yes.
you're wanting to go paperless with, and you're gonna keep them on site.
Right.
Which you'd still have to have some sort of an external hard drive to remove each night, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Because
There'd be-
it's on
yeah.
site,
That's
so it's
included.
worked out,
Right. It's all included in that,
And then this is just off-site somewhere in the clouds.
in the cloud.
And I don't understand how it works, but.
Well, there's storage like in the caves. and things.
Yeah.
But this one has a monthly
It's
charge.
somewhere.
That has a monthly charge and a usage charge, doesn't it?
Yeah, they said it would go up depending on how much stuff.
That's really when we
The other
first
one
start,
is
will be
set.
astronomical. This is a
Right.
set fee.
So it's paying me now, or paying me later.
Right.
That's what it is. Because
Yeah.
you're gonna pay.
Forever.
You're gonna pay whatever, but.
This is annual on the cloud.
The cloud one, the 1,000 something would be,
Well, there's 4,100.
that's non-reoccurring, so that's the one setup fee. And
Okay.
then
The other one's monthly, right?
the other one is monthly.
Right.
Thousands, that's 12,000 a year plus the 4,100 set. So that's,
16,000 for the first year.
Common sense to me says we do the in-house, but that way we're not paying forever, because we can never quit paying it, because all of our documents will be there.
Right.
So that would be a forever thing.
whose responsibility is to take the external hard drive?
Right.
And where's it go?
Right now, dispatchers swap them. We have a rotation that that we currently use.
So somebody has one on
So-
site, if there's an emergency, there's someone in charge of getting that on
Yeah.
site.
You can get them out of there.
Is that
We,
correct?
yeah.
That's what we currently do with the CAD, because we have another server for a different, obviously different purpose. We unfortunately can't use it for this purpose too, because the quantity of what we're gonna put on this is
And
astronomical.
this is to go paperless.
That is to
And
get rid of all
then
of
you're
it.
shredding all your stuff. and
We'll
then-
be shredding all of our papers, like, what, 3 or 4 file rooms full of papers, and the jail will get rid of all our paper before we move to the new facility.
So storage wise, this one.
This is gonna help us a lot, especially in the new facility when we're shrinking it and we don't have that storage space.
You scan it.
That is the admin position we will be hiring for, which we
So
need
it's
for the
temporary?
new. No, we need an admin position for the new facility anyway, that's included. This will be getting her sooner.
She'd be doing this, and that person would be doing this until that new facility is going.
And then-
She may not get it done by then.
Right. I'm
It's a
hoping-
year and a half, 2 year process to get all this done.
I'm hoping she'll get all the, because we have a lot of paper in the jail too, that also has to do all this.
Ideally, as whoever this person is we would have them up the courthouse and let the courthouse take papers too at some point.
Well, at least she at least show them how. This is kind of a guinea
Well, you
pig.
have way off. We'll tell you how we did it.
That was me taking a step back.
You're not the only salesperson.
He's got all the answers.
What I don't have an answer is, and this is, I mean, we don't have a choice, we have to do something. I don't know how much it's gonna cost to move it to our new facility. You asked me to get that, I haven't got that yet, we're still waiting for an
Move this?
answer. Move the,
Yeah,
yes,
so if they put it in now, then how much money?
which we have to put it in now anyway, if we're gonna be paperless, otherwise we have to involve the paper to the new facility, that's gonna be.
I mean, just logistically, like, all of the hardware.
It would be the actual hardware.
I mean, I can't imagine that.
I can't imagine it'd be more than $4,000, which is the initial startup on the first one, but,
It's a bunch of hardware.
right?
Unplug and replug.
I just don't have
Brett knows that, sir. Brett.
He can probably do it.
He probably do it himself.
Yeah, that wouldn't be
Yeah,
hard at
there you
all.
go. You do, you
Yeah.
say.
So
It would
when I
be
say
hard
this,
at all.
We'll throw some on here.
he might be able to help you do the, courthouse.
Is that something that, are you needing this today or?
I haven't got a purchase order, I just want to make sure you guys are on the same page. I believe that the one.
I mean, I think it's a no-brainer that you go with the one time and not the monthly fee.
Right.
Well, I will go back and get a
And you
purchase
said
order
you
for it,
looked,
but
you probably said this and I missed it, but, and you've looked at other companies who provide the same services?
we have, one was supposed to have gotten back with us by Friday, they didn't. However, their firewall quote was $10,000 higher than these people's quote, which I think we did that last Monday. Because we had to replace our firewall too, it's out of date. So. But
I'm
that's all.
still a little leery about cloud stuff.
I'm not a big fan. but-
Well, just because you can never quit doing it. What if they next year say, well, we're gonna. do
Well,
12,000
right,
hours?
I know, but
One of these days, I'm gonna die, and I don't wanna run into all that crap when I'm on.
yeah. You won't be going that road.
It's the cloud.
You mean they got a speeder out there?
With that, you may want to go to recess.
Yeah, I think that is a good time. I'm not gonna go on the same road as President.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm taking the speedy road.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, we'll go to recess. We'll be back at 11:50.
So I will stop the tape and restart.